In the year 1997, the future is in chaos and turmoil. Mankind is on the brink of extinction. Brave survivors band together and build a time displacement apparatus to receive a signal from a parallel future. This transmission is the Wundercast.
There's one team that kicks ass. They're assembled. They're the Wundercast. Never back down from the brass. Always start first. Never finish last. Had a mock speed. Bit too fast. Oh no, they're out of gas. It's okay there. Just a podcast. They're the greatest. We're the Wundercast.
Welcome to the Wundercast, the official podcast of Wunderblog.com, the podcast that knows that you never go in the basement and never bring anything out from the basement back into your life. You only leave things in basements and run away forever. That's the way to survive a horror movie.
Old bicycle, you're never coming out of
Yeah.
there.
Well, luckily in Miami, we don't have basements, so we don't have to worry about the seven bullshit.
That's true.
I am your host, Steven, and we got a full lineup today. We are doing a commentary track for Evil Dead 2013, directed by Fede Alvarez,
for the 10-year anniversary.
celebrating its 10-year
10
anniversary.
years.
That's
Right.
horrifying and wonderful. Good for them. Before I go through our hosts, I just want to say this podcast, if you want to support this podcast, go buy the new album by Ad Infinitum on, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's on Bandcamp. There'll be a link in the description. It's just $5 and it's pretty awesome. If you also want to support previous guest of the show, Alejandro Montoya Marin, his first feature film, Millennium Bugs, is available right now streaming on Google Play, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, and YouTube. Go spend $4 on genuine independent cinema, directed by Alejandro Montoya Marin, one of Robert Rodriguez's chosen 5 Rebel Without a Crew members, who I think was on, I think his episode is episode 93, if my trivia of myself is correct. But we'll see. With me today is my lovely cohortress, Danielle. How you doing, Danny?
Good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready for lots of...
I'm ready for blood.
Ready for blood. With us, as always, our non-binary champion and most decorated champion in Wundercast history, D-Rock. How you doing, D-Rock?
Four-time Trials of Trivia champion.
I'm losing count.
Yeah.
I'm losing count. It's getting too crazy. We gotta come up with a plaque or
It's
something.
rigged, man.
I don't know.
I'm good. I've been working on some new material for, I think it's Ad Infinitum. But I've heard people say Ad Infinitum also, so I'm not sure entirely, but
You gotta have.
Infinitum's one of those words that, like, it's like potato. Some people say
Right.
it differently.
right, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that powder keg.
Same. And like watching a lot of movies, obviously. So
Holla. And our super special guest today, a member of Evil Dead history, one half of the Mazer Brothers directing team.
Post-it note
Post-it note?
and of Evil Dead history. Did one episode.
The post-it note.
That's all it takes is one episode. Okay.
I'll take it, bro.
What is a solid 30
I'll take the
minutes?
post-it note. Yeah,
A
solid
solid-
30. The
Oh,
way
you
I see it,
said-
I got to play with Ash for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was like I even on set, I was treating it like a fan film. Like I was doing a fan film. I was like, just pretend it's a fan film, dude. Not real.
So you don't lose your mind.
yeah.
So perhaps Andres can give us some insight, since I believe a lot of the same producers for Evil Dead 2013 are the ones that produced Ash versus the Evil Dead. So there is some overlap here.
Yeah, and the editing team too.
Are they
Oh.
also the ones working on the new one coming out?
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise.
I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Probably. Tappert is he's based off of there in New Zealand, so yeah. And
Yeah,
it just New Zealand just got hot again too, because I think didn't X and Pearl shoot over there?
Yes,
they
did.
Yeah, so that I know that was a major talking point, so I'm sure everyone's looking over there. It's a very beautiful, beautiful place.
All right, so we're gonna start Evil Dead 2013 and roll through the commentary track. We are starting at the TriStar Clouds logo, and we're gonna press play.
That looks like a
in
butthole.
3,
Sorry.
2, 1, boom.
It does. It looks like a cat's butthole.
Boom. There we go.
The TriStar logo, for a split second,
As the light shines.
looked like a cat's butthole.
And our experts on cat buttholes. Dani.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There was this like app for a while that was about like taking care of cats, and people were obsessed with the fact that all the cats had little tiny like X's for their buttholes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm at the Film District logo now.
Steven's like, yes, let's move on.
I'm not sure. Okay, there's only 2 production companies before. Oh no, 3.
Yeah, we got to get that ghost house.
Ghost
Gotta
House
get the Ghost
Pictures.
House. I haven't seen that logo in a long time. Are they even still open?
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I haven't seen that logo in forever. So, first of all, the very concept of making this movie, we had already been inundated in the late 2000s with horror remakes.
Yeah.
The very year this came out was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Which was terrible.
No? Is that true?
Yeah.
No. Nightmare on
It's
Elm
not-
Street. I think didn't that come out? That came out in 2010, I believe.
I thought it was 2013.
I thought that was the year after Friday,
Hold
which
on.
was
I gotta-
2009.
Yeah, I think it's.
This is like post. Like I think Nightmares when like that.
Yeah.
That's when I think of the end of it.
Okay, my bad.
It is 2010.
My bad. Throw away everything I said for this intro.
No, but still, like 20.
In the 2010s, there were a
Yeah.
lot of remakes. They
No,
went,
this is an even weirder film than what Steven was suggesting in many ways, because like this is like that was still like remakes were still going on. They were still hot from the early 2000s since Texas
Mhm.
Chainsaw Massacre. All
Okay,
that
we
stuff.
had Carrie that year.
Okay,
We had an Old Boy that year.
in 2013, yeah,
Okay.
we were moving on to the Korean movies.
Yeah, we started going older. But they had moved up to the 80s because Carrie is 80s, right? Or
Yeah,
late
yeah,
70s?
yeah.
So they started doing the 70s remakes. They worked up to the 80s remakes, then the J horror remakes. And
Right.
and there had been so many horror remakes we got that are just not as good or nowhere near the original.
I don't
Well,
Yeah.
so many of them were just like, we're gonna take this and make it gritty
Yeah.
2000s. Everything's
edgy,
dark and dank
extreme.
and
Yeah.
dirty, and
Yeah.
fucking Leatherface looks like he's in Slipknot, and
Oh, we got Halloween 2 in 2013, didn't we?
20
No.
2000.
No, that was 2009.
God damn it.
That was Rob Zombies. I like that one.
That's a really, especially the unrated cut of it is like
Yeah.
a completely different movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, I love Halloween too. Rob Zombies. What are your favorite? What remakes do you think did rise to the occasion? I would say Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which was totally different. And my favorite movie of all time is Dawn of the Dead, so this means a lot. That Zack Snyder actually pulled off a fun action movie out of the concept. And then I liked Alexander Aja's Hills Have Eyes. In many ways, I think it surpassed the
Yeah,
original.
that movie was traumatizing. I think he
Yeah.
succeeded.
I
was
think
never
the makeup effects brought it to
Yeah.
a whole new level.
I
I
have
love
a
that
soft
movie.
spot, and I know people probably would like to story at me, but I have a soft spot for the remake with Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jessica Biel.
That was fun.
I saw it by myself, and I don't know. There's something about it that I think I like.
Well, you saw it before you saw the original, right?
No, I don't
No?
think so.
Well, what I think all these horror remakes do, and this opening scene even gives you, is there's something so much more tactile about the gore
Yeah.
in these modern movies.
Yeah.
Since they're shooting in
this,
HD and
in
stuff.
this era, there is like now I feel like everything's too dark, but like, but I no, but yeah, in the 2010s they were still like lighting things really cool and like they're just nasty, like
Yeah.
really grimy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I would say about a lot of the remakes, even though they are quote unquote horror slicker, you know, that sort of even Texas Chainsaw Massacre has beautiful lighting. Like I do love the look, and I understand I'm glad that it's that radically different from the gritty, you know, even this one, like it's just beautiful to look at. I love the visuals of this.
I love the
For sure.
love the visuals of this. I know it's like it's blasphemous, but this is my favorite Evil Dead.
Oh, wow.
Really, I'm not surprised. It has a lot of things working for it. It actually is one of those like even like Blade Runner, like The Shining, like even Mandy. This one, at first I was whatever, and it grew on me, and after rewatching, I ended up liking it more and more.
Yeah, it grows on you. That's the thing.
Grows on you, yeah.
And the more I rewatch it, the more I enjoy it. I just really love how just carnal it is.
Well,
it's just so bloody, and I think there's just something really like they just go for it, you know.
Well, it has that awesome prequel intro, which like no other Evil Dead movie really has.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay,
really go
so right
into,
out the gate, it's like something new and like different and kind of like building a mythology.
I would say you could like that could be seen as a negative where that is a very Hollywood thing. It's like you gotta have the opening thing to show that it's a horror film rather than build like the original, you know, or something like that. But
but I think
I still like it.
Modern thing.
But I think the way it plays in this movie, it's more like a promise to the audience, like we're gonna get as bloody as you think. Look at how bloody this is. Look at how gory this is. We'll
set her on fire, then shoot her.
Yeah,
I think it was a way for them to sort of, you know,
like this is what you're in.
This is what you're in for. Like we're going to do Evil Dead, but we're doing Evil Dead like more. Like,
I first saw this like not that long after discovering the original Evil Dead, and the first time watching that movie, I was like, man, this was made in 1981, and look how fucking gory and disgusting and like just pushing the bound. I think it was like rated NC-17 or maybe it was X at the time. They didn't even have, but I was and when I saw this, I was like, this is the perfect tribute to that movie to just go as balls out with like all the blood and guts and disgustingness that you possibly can, but also like had a really cool story. And like this, I remember telling Dani the first time I watched it, the way they set this up where they're all here to keep her from relapsing, like you immediately like every single one of these characters, and that's pretty fucking impressive feat to pull off, to just like going right in, like I want every one of these characters to live, and you know I know they're not going to but I like all these people. They're such good people for doing this, you know?
I think it's also such a brilliant way to set her up as a totally unreliable narrator.
Yes.
Like, it's such a brilliant way to be like, she is untrustworthy, so terrible things are going to happen to her, and there's nothing that they will do about it until it's too late.
If this movie had come out, like, now, people would say this is, like, woke horror because it's about somebody suffering from mental illness and drug addiction and not being believed.
Yeah.
Like, this is
gaslighting.
Sounds based.
They would write fake pieces on it. Don't give them ideas. They'll revisit it. Like,
how come the girl's the lead?
Jane Levy she doesn't always do horror, but she's a bit of a scream queen. She's done some pretty substantial horror films. Don't Breathe.
I still need to see that.
Same director, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I had that.
That was awesome too.
Spoiled for me too in the top 100 scariest horror moments.
Oh no!
I had the turkey baster spoiled for me.
Don't spoil it for people to watch. I'm sure it doesn't matter.
I just said turkey baster. It's like not gonna.
That's a great movie. I'm looking. I think he's working on Aliens now. I'm looking forward to that.
Right? He has been, right? I've heard he's been
Yeah,
working
in
on
the show.
Very nice.
Untitled Alien Project, yeah.
Exciting.
Awesome.
His last movie I haven't heard anything about. The Girl in the Spider's Web.
Yeah.
That's the Dragon Tattoo sequel.
Yeah. The sequel to
it's-
Fincher's.
Yeah, that's one of the trilogy, I think.
Wait, but
That's not gonna happen.
it's not happening, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make that.
That's all. Like, look at that! Look at that shot. That's so great.
I love it. I really do. I love the visuals in this film.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's so strange to like watch a horror movie and know it's so nasty, but also be like, wow, that's gorgeous.
So
like
yeah, right.
like that's the most
Well,
beautiful
in a lot of
Maybe, like,
it's
that
more
month, so.
it's also one of the things that is I think people production designers talk about. It's a lot harder to make something look dirty than it is to look clean. you
yeah.
know?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like an even bigger testament of how like visually beautiful this is.
Yes,
When
exactly.
you think about it,
It's true because they
they
really
work
made
their asses. This is
shit.
indoors probably. Like that's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
one thing. Like
This shot
watching
right here.
is like, and and this book that I read recently, I think it was the book that you lent me, Splatterflix. It was talking about all the different like roles for all the different people, and like now I appreciate the job of production designers so much. Like I'll look at a movie and be like, oh my god, the production designer went ape shit on this movie.
Yeah.
That was one of the things, like rewatching Texas Chainsaw Massacre after reading that book. I was like, this production designer fucked shit, like the locations and all the like that weird room with all the bones and shit in it. Like
Yeah.
that person like did a job.
There's a reason why they got pissed at the Oscars when they took out, some of the more like
The
what they would
technical
call
awards.
background, like
No.
pieces, not just it's something.
Production
It's
design
like-
is like the everything that you're looking at. The production designer designed. Like.
a movie going right is the result of hundreds of decisions of different people.
Yeah.
In different areas. It's not one thing.
I also feel like this film doesn't stray from the formula of Evil Dead 1 and 2
Mhm.
in that there's a few characters, but only one of them is like going to really engage the audience. The
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
characters are just sort of filler until they become gore.
Which
Mhm.
is also why it's so genius to put them in this situation and make you like them, because they're not going to put any time
yeah.
into developing these characters. So
Yeah.
just give them a reason to like all of these people.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Well,
that's really like,
I think what they did was cast very visually interesting looking people where it's like,
Yeah.
you kind of feel for them just by their visual,
Yeah.
and how they're
Like they're pretty, but they're not too pretty.
right.
yeah, and this guy himself, he feels like he could be the lead, That's another
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
awesome aspect about this film. As it goes on, it kind of switches who is the
It's
lead,
true.
which is kind of like genius in a way. So
Mhm.
therefore they didn't have to answer like who's Ash, like
Yeah.
which one's the Ash,
Right.
which was interesting, which was also really great. I think that's a lot of really like clever things going on in this film,
and
that you have to learn to appreciate, that I'd learned to appreciate and love after
With
rewatching.
every rewatch, you
Yeah.
think about other little things that they did that was really cool.
I remember when I first discovered Evil Dead as a kid in the 90s, and my brothers had a VHS of Evil Dead 2, and I tried to watch it, and I was like so scared at what was happening that I was like, I have to watch this in like fast forward. Like I can't
Oh
I
my
can't
God.
handle this at regular speed.
It's
And so I just
scary.
watched the rest of the movie and fast forward.
It's a scary ass movie.
awesome.
Because
especially
I
for the
wanted
time
to
was
get
made.
through it, but
Yeah.
it was like too intense.
No,
I,
all the camera shots of it that's just swarming through the forest are just so unsettling.
My history with Evil Dead is actually like Star Wars, where I did it backwards because I was so young, right? So I started with I think Army of Darkness was 92, so I was in the second grade, and just that VHS cover, and then my mom let me rent it because she thought it looked kind of goofy and fun, and I fell in love with it, and then I was reading about it and found out that it was actually the third of an Evil Dead series, and I rented the second one, and that one was like too much for me. Like the beginning of that film was like, oh my god, this isn't a funny adventure with a goofball. This thing is like, oh my god. Yeah, it was a little too much. The second one was a little too much for me, but I trucked through and I ended up like loving it. And then I finally saw the first one way later in life, way like probably my teenage years.
It's funny like this scene, like seeing how like the 6 degrees of separation you can do with like her from Cloverfield to this to that guy who is the camera guy in X. Like there's like a whole thing going on there. There's a chain.
And this is an interesting concept too. I don't think gets played up of like the idea of somebody who is in distress being like more sensitive to.
Well, it gets played out a lot in possession films, but
but usually like that's it. She's doomed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You're the first person to know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You're doomed.
You're doomed.
You don't get to be the final girl.
Right.
Yeah, that's what. No,
You know?
I got what you're saying. That it's cool that she gets to be both the victim and the victor.
Yeah, like the first person to know and the final.
Yeah, I think I would prefer that I'm a druggie trope rather than the little kid trope that can't explain anything, but then like speaks in riddles and all that. Yeah, I'd rather just have that come from a druggie. Like realize it's like, okay, dude, calm down.
Whoa.
I think it's just it's they always pick when they pick the victims of these movies, it's always like, what's scary? Oh, a kid, because a poor kid, what did a kid do? Why are they suffering? But it's also there's always an element of they rely on people not believing the character, so they need people like drug addicts, like
yeah, that's true.
To be like, what? Timmy, you're being silly.
Right.
Timmy, you do too much meth. We can't believe you.
That should have been the sequel to Jacob the Liar. No one believes it. It's like a slasher.
See, and this is great because it's pitch dark, but you can still see
them.
There's still ambiance. We have degenerated as
we have
a society.
we have degenerated as a society.
The movie that I always point to for that is Sinister. That's one of the movies that like another one that I watched after I read that book, and I was like, the lighting in this movie is so good because it's as dark as it could
so dark
possibly be in that house, and yet they just give you just enough light that you can like sort of see the outline of his face.
Yeah.
And it's so well done.
It's great.
Playing with darkness is always great. One of my favorite films visually is The Descent because of how it uses black so beautifully.
I think Nope did a pretty good job playing with darkness. So I think Jordan Peele did it.
Like wide open space darkness.
Yeah.
Hard to do, like
and still give you the element of both being out in the pitch dark in the middle of nowhere, bumfuck, the countryside basically. Right. But also like having that enough lighting to see what was going on.
Like I remember when I saw one of the first times I saw Titanic, my mom's friend that I saw it with had to like lean over and be like, by the way, this is way more light than would have existed when these people. It was pitch black, like you would not be able to see your hand in front of your face. Dark.
I love that your friend had to. By the way, historically speaking, these people would be in the pitch blackness.
Not historic. It's just science. But I was like 12 years old when I first saw that movie, so I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, that's true."
Rose should have never known that he'd like thinking,
Jack,
where'd you go?
That just makes Titanic even more of a horror story. Now
I know,
imagine
it's
that you're
terrifying.
drowning and there's no lights.
There's zero light.
Jesus.
I love how hardcore this book is kept in a garbage bag.
I know, right?
Wrapped in barbed wire.
And yet they still think it's a good idea. Let's look.
See, that's the thing too. It's like you feel for these
but
people,
it's calling
you're
to
like,
them.
once they open the book, so it's like, bro,
it's so Cabin in the Woods. It's like, yes, you chose your death.
Yeah.
The way I see it, one of them would not have opened it if they were alone, but all of them together, that is getting opened. It's like if we were all together, we would have opened it.
It's true. No, that's the thing too. Is I think it's just like part of it is it's calling to them.
I have people with me; they'll help.
Yeah, but it's a strong calling. Like it tells you, like open me, open me, open me.
Another thing, like when the last time I rewatched the original Evil Dead, it really hit home. Like, man, Cabin in the Woods like straight up ripped things, not ripped, but like it's an homage, obviously, but like the fucking cellar door just blowing open is literally torn from the original Evil Dead.
It's
like
Evil
such
Dead
a
like the original Cabin in the Woods film?
Yeah,
Was there
I think
an
so.
earlier version?
No, there's definitely
a
Cabins
myth.
in the Wood films, but they're not. That was Evil Dead was brought it to a whole new level. The way I saw it, the way I see it, and I even pitched this to stars to try to get the job too. Is like Evil Dead. What makes Evil Dead special is like it feels like it's the first and only horror film that is from the perspective of the evil, not from the perspective of the victim, which is awesome. And then when you hear Sam Raimi talk about how, oh yeah, I just love torturing Bruce, I love like we love putting him through things and all that, and he was always funny when you do that. And it's like, yeah, Sam was essentially metaphorically the demon just torturing Bruce, and that shines through in the movie. And then along with the camera angles, it's like, okay,
right,
like you could see that this is the demons, like we're the demons having fun,
right? I mean, isn't it like the first shot, like the first person perspective of the evil like possessing somebody, right? I don't know if it's is it the very first shot of that original movie?
Again, all this stuff has been toyed around, like the idea of a POV shot, like even the year before, like Friday the 13th had a lot of POV shots, but the way Evil Dead did it, again, the energy, the
tracking cam, the wood on the log, basically wood of camera drag across the floor.
Because it's a first person shot from the perspective of something that's not a person.
Yeah, that's also like could be attributed to Jaws as well. Again, but Sam Raimi is just a fan of films, and he just used it, and he did his own. He created almost like his own language with like stuff used before.
Nice.
It's a genius.
It's true.
And I think this movie, Evil Dead 2013, like the editing in this movie,
Cabin in the Woods horror movie. Like I was trying to think of it. Like what is it? Is it Friday the 13th?
But I think it goes. I think you have to go even beyond that. It's like it's a literary concept.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to figure out like what's the earliest on film. That they captured that sort of idea.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like I think like even Mario Bava's like Twitch of the Death Nerve, like which is attributed as the first slasher movie, which was 1972. Like that was like a beach house. I don't know, like cabin. And it was in the woods next to a lake.
It was in the woods. I think it counts. 72 so far as the earliest.
I think it was 72. I could be wrong about that.
And this movie kind of like they have a black friend in this movie, but it never comes across like this is the black friend in the movie. Like it has the tropes of modern day cinema. This might be the first black person in an Evil Dead movie.
Is she?
I think so.
Oh my God.
I can't think of another black person before Evil Dead 2013.
Even in like Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, no.
No, right?
So no, it was medieval times.
Gosh,
right?
yeah, she is. Wow. Wow.
Yo, these are from Minnesota. There's only white people there.
I'm not
in the woods.
My debate is not, I'm just saying that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It is. It took 2013 years to happen.
Yes, exactly, precisely.
The long history of cinema. That's me.
And I feel like for Friday the 13th, when they remade it, they went against some of the core principles that made Friday the 13th great. They leaned on CGI instead of practical effects. They they like blatantly recast Freddy.
Jason.
Sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street.
You think because Friday, I thought Friday was a pretty good accurate.
Yeah, Friday's cool.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th is a solid remake. But Nightmare on Elm Street, everything they did to modernize that movie made it worse.
It was a crime
And everything
because
they do to modernize
will
this
tell you,
movie makes it better.
the problem with that movie is the crime of it is it was boring. It was boring. I watched it in the theater with a friend. We were bored. And like that is not acceptable.
Yeah.
I'd rather like laugh at it. I'd rather
Right.
if I could laugh at it, if I could make fun of it, it's one
something
thing, but
discernible.
it was so boring.
It is a shame. Like, I don't know if this is where you were going with this, but Jack Earl Haley, when I heard that he was cast as Freddy, I was like, that sounds fucking awesome.
But they changed his face completely. They went for like this strange sort of realism with his scarring that just really didn't work and just made him look like a blank slate, like he didn't have a face.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre.
I'm on those distinctive like scar like gashes and like burn like shit in his face is like so
part
iconic.
Of what Freddy,
about.
No, they really went as bland as humanly possible with that end story, and it was a disappointment.
That's too bad.
And this is just a horrible situation now for Jane Levy.
Yeah, right.
I have no idea what she got paid for this movie, but it was not enough.
Yeah,
it's true. I can only imagine. They filmed this in chronological order, they said. Because they needed to, because they were gonna have to make the house so nasty.
Right.
That they were like, we should film it in chronological order as much as possible, so that as we make the house nastier, it's easier for us to match.
Yeah, with all the blood and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can't imagine. So this is chronologically ordered in from worst to worst for her.
Yeah,
like
right.
mud, nastiness, blood.
And it doesn't break any of the principles of the original movie.
No.
Like it always looks fucking depressing and horrible.
Yeah.
It's not a good time.
Everything is always mucky and gross and goopy and dusty and dirty.
Dusty. But I think
they meant foggy.
The thing that I like is the goopy part. Like it's not the dirty griminess of the gritty late 2000s remakes. It's just like dank and dirty, disgusting and gross and fucking very Evil Dead, you know?
Yeah. And
I know this is like the most controversial scene in the original film.
Oh yeah.
And I really think that they managed to do their own thing here. And they still make it horrifying, but I think a little less sexual than like the first time they were around.
Yeah,
or
the
I think
first one was
a little more erotic.
Extreme.
Yeah.
It was very I don't know about it was very extreme, yeah.
You know what I mean by erotic.
Yeah.
Like it was eroticized.
Well, it also helps that these are CGI branches and those were practical branches that were like shaking and like fingery.
It's the way they shot
well, yeah, no, I mean,
like,
among
we see
other
this
things,
happening. We know what's happening, but there's just a specific way that they filmed this sequence here versus like when she's on the floor in the original one, like writhing around, like it's
But this is such a great horror thing. Like
I think
scary tree scary.
Yeah.
This scary tree's gonna fuck you. Like be fucking scared.
Yeah.
That's the movie. That's the movie Tim Burton needs to make.
The fucking tree.
If only Shyamalan had made his trees just a little bit more scary and rapey, that people would have been like, "Oh my god!"
Again, a testament. Like I was like, at this point, you don't really know how Evil Dead this remake could go. It's not dropping the ball. You know, watching this the first time, it's not dropping the ball, but it's not doing anything Evil Dead yet. 100% being carried by the beautiful visual, like the camera work, everything is just amazing. I can't praise the
effects. I mean that I assume that was a CGI little.
I think it's a combo. I remember seeing something I'm making up. I think it's a combo.
Yeah, because it looks good.
Yeah,
all slimy.
They cover Jane Levy in all kinds of fluids.
Oh yes,
like
poor girl.
She was covered
she
in
went
blood,
through it.
mud, gore, goop, nasty stuff.
I for one have a huge respect for the actors and actresses that come through the horror genre and do stuff like this, like get down and dirty at first, you know, really getting in there, you know.
It's
and then
nasty.
rising up to doing what they want to do. A lot of them do end up coming back and liking the genre. Pretty based that Jamie Lee Curtis winning the Oscar.
Yeah.
Thank genre fans, man. That was awesome.
That was,
Yeah.
that was really awesome.
That was fucking an amazing moment.
Yeah.
It was a very, very fun Oscars this year. I was a fan.
Yeah, I loved it. It was the dream comes true. Oscars for me. Everything that I wanted to win.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh. Fun.
Yeah, it was, and there were so many good speeches because these were people that just really were just so happy to like be there. So they were just beautiful speeches, like really inspirational. Like,
And I didn't realize this till way later. Giga Chad James Cameron didn't even show up.
yeah. He's like, meh.
He has ascended the Oscars.
He has.
He was robbed of a Best Director nomination for.
Oh, he was?
For
I
Avatar.
didn't know that. I thought it was a
Way in
given.
water.
I thought it was a given.
They should have added an extra nomination just for him.
Just for him.
Yeah, why not?
But
Why not?
James
Yeah.
Cameron.
Was Sarah Polly nominated? Yeah, well, I'll check this later. Evil Dead.
Hollywood hates him for this one reason.
So we were saying before the podcast. So Evil Dead Rise, the new remake requel. We don't know.
It's not a sequel. They said.
Is not a sequel to this movie at all.
I thought it was because the Wikipedia page is confusing because the Evil Dead 2013 page says it's a sequel, but then when you go on Evil Dead Rise, it says it is not a sequel.
Well, it's a sequel in the way that it's the next movie.
Yeah, right.
I guess.
It is part of the franchise.
But apparently the film that supposedly is pitched and talked about behind closed doors is having a movie where Ash meets Mia, Jane Levy's character, and have like a full team up movie.
That was
That'd
always
be
the
awesome.
dream.
Yeah. That'd be
Hope it
dope.
happens. I don't think Bruce would do it unless Sam does it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Sam personally directed it.
Yep.
Whoa. Only get tortured by the best thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Maybe Tarantino.
Tarantino's
Evil Dead.
they said they're making Heat 2.
Oh shit.
I don't know why I thought about Tarantino. I thought about Heat 2 for some reason. I know it has something to do with it.
The one that gets me is Face Off 2. Oh my god.
They're
I
making
cannot
Face Off 2.
with the Cage and the Travolta. Check who's
Wow.
directing it. Check who's directing it. I'm not even gonna tell you. I'll let you
Oh
see.
my! I'm about to look. I
let
didn't
you
know. I
see.
thought
I
that.
haven't heard of this.
I'll let you see.
Oh my god!
I don't know if that's out in the wide public. I haven't heard any of this.
I hope it doesn't get canceled. Oh my god. Did it get canceled and I don't know it?
Next, you're gonna tell me they're making Con Air 2, and I'm about to go crazy.
Okay, wait. Okay, so 2023. This is Cinema Blend though, so take this with a grain of salt, I guess. Last we heard, Nicolas Cage is hopeful about Face Off 2. I don't know who's directing it.
Now I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah,
Now I
because
look bad.
oh wait, Adam Wingard.
Yeah. Adam Wingard, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What have I heard that?
The Guest and King Kong. He did The Guest. You're Next. Horror guy.
Oh, you're next.
He's
That's
a-
where
yeah.
I know it.
Horror
Yeah. And then he did recently King Kong, which was
Yeah.
King Kong versus Godzilla, which I liked. I liked a lot.
I liked it too. It was fun.
I thought it was a great movie.
He did the 2016 Blair Witch. He did a VHS short. We loved
Yeah.
Your Next. Your Next was great.
Mhm, Your next.
Your Next is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Him doing Face Off is fun. Yeah.
Whoa.
I hope it goes through.
I really want to
Hammer
see
murder.
Travolta and Nicolas Cage being super unhinged again. Like that would
Yeah.
just be enough for me.
But it must be their clones or something.
They're
Yeah.
yes. Oh my god.
One of them is dead.
Yeah. You're right.
They could bring him back. They could change
bunch
faces.
are
No, but
overcloned to
they
kill you.
could clone them. You're right. Oh man.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I love
This
this.
is so. This
So
is
creepy.
horrifying and
Scalding.
creepy. Amazing.
Devil shower. That's how I like my showers.
I don't think you like them like
burning
this.
your skin.
Exactly this temperature.
Uh-huh.
That's how I roll.
Boiling lava hot.
That's awesome.
Nice and steamy.
Beautiful visual.
Yeah.
We technically we gave homage. We had a shower scene in our episode.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
Nice.
Oh, and then the
Oh.
effect. This part really
That
always gets
looks
me.
fucking
Nasty.
rad as fuck.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is when it starts, where you're like, it's paving its own way. It's doing its own
Yeah.
thing now. Evil Dead. The language of Evil Dead is expanded.
And
Beautiful
this
thing.
is so great because the horror has started for her,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
now the horror is finally starting
for them. Yeah.
for everyone else, you know? And it's all like small horrors, like, is there a dog in this hole?
Yeah.
Is she ODing? Did she do drugs again?
Yeah, it's all still kind of
Really-
drug related to the characters as well, you know, where it's all realistic. How do you keep these people in there, you know, without like really freaking out? It's like, well, we kind of knew it was going to go bad. We didn't think it was going to be this bad, but it's still like drug related, still like a human problem
Right.
to these people until now.
And the environment, all of nature.
Yes. That's what I love. I
Just
love that the
totally
environment is just
abandons you.
against them. It's like the entire area is just
The
cursed.
whole forest is fucking
This
is
is
just
part of
this
it.
evil entity.
Yeah. It's in the vines, it's in the roots.
Mhm.
And somehow she looks triumphant as she's.
Yeah, she like
the
you
Spit.
saw that?
I
That's
love
so
that.
great.
I love that shot.
The foaming mouth
Yeah.
grin.
fun
good.
dead. This is such a this turns into such a great ride now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching this in theaters, and this played like, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
fucking saws fucking this
Yeah.
thing in half, and
Yeah.
fucking he's
Yeah.
just covered in blood. Like, I remember the theater just cheering and being
Yeah.
fucking over the moon.
Yeah.
I could imagine. Very, very interesting, you know, because I think also like the quote unquote torture porn phase was done by
Yeah.
this time as well. And they still decided
And
like
what's
we're gonna go
interesting is I
gore.
wouldn't count this as torture porn.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, but like to green light, like, oh, we're gonna go gore, like
Yeah,
full-on gore
yeah.
was the right move, I think, and a ballsy move at the time. Especially trying to keep it under R-rated too. It's like they really
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's a balance. I can only imagine what the MPA meetings must have been like for
Yeah.
this movie.
What
Yeah.
they cut from this.
Is
Yeah,
there one
well,
There's an alternate ending.
or
Oh,
an
yeah.
unrated version?
No, there's an alternate ending, and I believe the original ending that they were supposed to have, but they didn't feel it was right in editing,
Mhm.
was she doesn't win.
She loses.
She about the end shot of the movie is like her floating up into the air,
Mhm.
and then she's supposed to pop in a
Oh.
shower of blood, and
Oh,
then the
shit.
blood's supposed to rain down on the Necronomicon, and then the last shot is the Necronomicon bathing in her blood. Was the original ending.
Yeah,
But I believe that they felt that she deserved to win the movie.
Yeah.
yeah, I think she suffered. enough.
It's bad enough that her it's bad enough
most characters do in horror films.
No, it's true, but I don't know. I like that they made the decision to be like, okay, it's almost like she went by a trial by fire, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one thing's for sure, she's never doing heroin again after this.
I'm sure they traded it off with the ending currently with the rain, because the rain thing is a major element that I loved in
So gross.
the third act of this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They would
I
have
mean-
had to lose that if they were gonna have just the rain be the pop, I assume. I think.
I wouldn't have liked that ending at all.
Yeah, I
Just-
think the trade-off is better into this way.
I would
yeah.
have felt so weird about her just popping like a balloon.
Well, I think it was definitely an ending that was trying to deflate the audience of
Yeah, but ugh.
oh, you can't win.
I mean, that's the ultimate ending for a movie that's from the that's from the perspective
evil.
of the evil. Is yes, the protagonist wins. Isn't everybody happy?
I am winning. Great for me.
Oh,
it's
the chunks. Oh man, yeah. This is so well made. It's like
It's so nasty.
so many great little
It's so
details.
gross.
So much good shit. This is one of those movies that like the word juicy comes to mind for some reason. There's certain movies that I was just like, oh yes,
It does feel juicy.
there's just so much meat and like
Yeah, whose fault is that, bro?
yeah, man.
You read the words, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, this part.
I
Oh
hate
my
this
god.
part. Oh god.
It's so nasty. This is another one of those things that's just like, wow, they really did this.
Was such a nightmare for me. It was like
So
such a nightmare.
terrifying.
I hated it. Oh.
Which part are you guys at? I want to make sure I'm. Did she
We
just
are
throw
in
up?
The
the
bathroom,
bathroom. The
in the
mirror just
bathroom.
broke.
It's right before the syringy fun time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is great.
This is so
so
just this whole sequence from her doing it to like him coming in, like finding her.
the whole sequence, but like the fucking stabbing with the needle is
Yeah.
it's such a fucked up visual. I
Yeah, that was-
love it.
Next level.
And like talk about death by 1,000 tiny cuts, like just like the tiniest like stab wound over and over and over and over.
I also love this.
And
How
yeah,
many times do characters pee themselves in fear?
Porn
That is always
kiss.
like that is always such a visual of like nightmarishness whenever a character pisses them. Like in The Exorcist,
The
that is one
Exorcist,
of
yeah.
the most terrifying
Yeah.
moments.
Well,
is
then
when
that's
she just,
what
like,
that one's
pisses herself.
and that one's terrifying because it's not out of fear. It's out of she's like
lost control of her body.
fucked.
Yeah.
Like
But
her
that's
head
right.
is
But that's
fucked.
what it is. It's like you've lost control. Like
Yeah.
you're either so scared or your body's no longer your own. And
It's one
just,
of those things
it's
that's like
really
it's
nightmarish
horrifying because it's not movie terrifying.
Yeah.
It's not like that's why I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre because that movie's full of shit that's like you kind of want to laugh, but that makes it so much more terrifying because it's like they're not doing this for like, oh, it's a movie. This is the thing that we do now. It's like, you know, he's hitting her with a broom. What the fuck is going on in this movie?
It's such a testament that again, they're filming in a cabin. Like this doesn't normally work for me. Like the
Mhm.
whole movie's locations in one cabin, yet it moves so fast. It's quick. It's visual. It's just like there's so much talent behind this.
And I think that they did a smart thing where they kind of only give us bits and pieces of each set piece until they're ready to like show us more.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always off kilter, except for like the main room. That's the only place where we're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay,
Or bearings,
Yeah.
to some extent.
Yeah,
Oh.
this bathroom. Yeah.
Oh,
nice
slipping
slip on
in
her own
blood.
cheek. He slipped on her cheek.
Oh, that's her. Oh
That's
my
her
god.
piece of her cheek.
Oh my god.
That's like
It's like slipping on a banana peel.
that was the
And then-
moment I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude, this fucking movie.
You
And
could
then
laugh a little bit at that, but it's fucked up.
That's another one of those things that like that's that it, even in other movies like a character slips in blood. It's like kind of funny, but also because it's funny. Yeah, this. Oh my god,
And
just
then-
like right in the eye, in the face.
And I love
This
the,
dude goes through the ringer, man. This guy like almost dies like 5 times
Before
in
he
this movie.
I and I love the poetry of like the themes of this movie. That
Yeah.
like he's the one who read from the book,
Yeah.
so he's gonna get stabbed in the eye.
Yeah.
And
With the syringe, because
Oh.
oh my god, yes, the way that piece of skin. Oh my god, so
I also just love the choreography of how they decided to portray the possessed people. Like her just stabbing him with that rigid arm out. Like
Yes,
it's
like-
so mechanical.
Mechanical,
It's
yeah.
like so good.
it reminds me of Joe Bob talking about Train to Busan. He talks about how they've specifically focused on
The
instead of doing the zombies like making them scary by their makeup, which is kind of the more usual thing. they focused on the choreography. They're like jerky ass
Yeah.
movements because they have barely any makeup and they're just like kind of, you know, people looking, but they have those like crazy, they spend a lot of time like perfecting the choreography of their movement and making them
It
scary
definitely
that way.
works for a scary character. You can make a scary character that becomes famous based on like how they move. Like, so like you have like Ghostface, he has that like iconic like knife wipe thing that
Yes.
people love.
Oh, I love the double knife wipe in the new one.
People haven't
Oh,
seen
fuck.
it.
Sorry.
People haven't seen it.
Well, this is gonna be coming out in like a couple weeks. It should be fine. But yeah, sorry about that. We
suppose.
can edit that out. Sorry. But yeah, the knife. I mean, like even like the last Scream. I'm assuming that's okay for spoilers.
Yes.
Where she does it like
No.
barehanded.
Nothing is okay for spoilers.
Nothing.
Why are we fucking spoiling Scream in the middle of Evil Dead?
We've been talking about everything else, but
Okay, then we should be talking about
We
Evil Dead.
should.
I
too.
was talking about how
Yeah.
choreography in horror films can create great monsters.
Yes.
It was based on the themes of what we're watching. Okay, thank you very much, Stephen.
Terrifier thing. Choreography. Shit.
And what's great is this movie has no specific analog for like any other character in the other
Yeah.
movies. So you never really know
See, like this
what
kitchen.
footing you're in with each character.
Yeah, like
We really didn't get this kitchen
We've
before.
never-
We got a little bit of the kitchen, but now we're getting more kitchen. And now it's because there's another sequence that's gonna happen.
those
where-
old timey curtains and the wood and like yeah, I love that. The whole aesthetic of this. That camera work was just whipping around and kind of disoriented. If it kind of feels like a from the perspective of the evil shot.
Mhm.
The way it's just like
yeah, it's like looking at her.
hovering
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's like trying to find her weakness.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Put on a bit.
Those are always the most like infuriating moments in
You're
horror movies
Don't do it.
where the possessed character is acting normal for a second
Yeah.
and you're like, no, don't you understand what's
They
happening here?
don't though. If they don't.
So-
It's trying to trick you.
So the first cut of this movie they submitted for rating was an NC-17,
Yeah.
Whoa. That
and
makes sense.
they had to
No
I want-
shot.
pare it down.
I'd love to see an NC-17 version of that.
Yes.
Yeah, release the unrated cut.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
for real. Why haven't
I'm
they
sure
done-
maybe they have. We haven't.
Yeah,
checked.
they might there might be.
I'm pretty sure they have.
Have we? Do we have?
My
I want
version is I'm very fond of my version because I have a DVD that was bought from Blockbuster
Ah,
with
Oh,
the
nice.
Blockbuster
Mm.
sticker on it.
Nice.
Mm,
So it was previewed. It's been used before.
yeah.
Those have become
Yeah,
like those cups
the
that people
release
steal
date for
from the
Evil
dining
Dead
hall.
Unrated was 2018, so it's actually not that long ago. It's pretty recent.
And I got it on clearance as Blockbuster was dying. That was like a great deal.
Nice.
I want to see the Unrated.
I really want to see that. Yeah, for
I
sure.
thought I had. I guess I haven't. I'll put that in. If that's not 2018 release, it's probably before because Blockbuster went under.
Yeah, 2014, 2013.
I
Feel
love-
free.
I will say it was really sad to like plunder Blockbuster, but it was also really fun because we got a lot of stuff.
For like
Really-
$2, like yeah,
it was
man.
really good.
Yeah, a lot of $2 movies. Good shit. And I actually came across a bunch of
Oh,
DVDs I
Yes.
stole
Like,
from
so, like,
Netflix.
Her tongue
weirdly-
looks like a slug. It's
like
so
weirdly
gross.
sexual, but like the most disgusting way. Oh my god, that's the
It's funny.
such a great
I
visual.
think it's like violated. Like it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
But like, oh, I mean, like that. Like they managed to capture that really well.
yeah. I love that's what I love about Evil Dead is when people fucking say shit like that.
I think that's why Jane Levy is so good in this movie, because she does the deadite talking
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
like better than any other actress.
Oh,
And then the way she just looked. Oh,
That's
God.
dope.
That's so
That's
sick.
awesome.
Yeah. So good.
See,
And that's what's even more disturbing is that's an actual thing. People actually get their tongues cut like that, and like I think it's a like oral sex thing. Like
It can be.
it like I think for most people it like largely is, because like why else? I mean, other than like being weird, not weird, but like
I just enjoy
know.
how horny this monster is.
I know,
It's
right?
Like,
Like,
anyone can get.
I mean, that's even more terrifying that like not only is she trying to kill you, but also like trying to sexually violate you.
As demons tend to do.
As demons
Sure,
tend to do.
yeah.
They love it.
It's like the Exorcist, fucking herself with the cross.
Oh, that's
Let
such a
Jesus
pretty
fuck you.
shot. I love that shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's evil.
If it's from hell.
Yeah, like you're probably making it
Fire.
stronger right now.
Fire's like, woo.
Yeah, it's like, yes, more fire.
hit it with an iceberg.
Iceberg right ahead.
Smell ice, can you?
If you throw it in the ocean, will it possess a whale? And
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Genius sequel. Let's do it.
It's blowholes, it's blowholing blood.
Evil Dead in the
Evil whales.
Evil Dead the Meg.
Not a shark. Shark's too cliche. I want a whale. I want an evil whale. Possessed whale.
Well, the Meg isn't just a shark, Daniel. Come on.
I'm so sorry.
It's a
But you know what I
prehistoric
mean? Like,
monster.
if someone was gonna do something with like a
Mhm.
shark, something's possessed by a demon in the ocean, they're always gonna pick shark because like it's got teeth. But a whale,
Giant squid.
giant squid, whale, whales are big, man. They're scary, big. Like you don't want that thing coming after you.
Yeah. It's almost too big though. Like
Yeah, you can. There's different whales.
there's no way to take
Whoa.
it down.
There's
on-
pilot whales. There's beluga whales.
On
Look at that.
IMDb in the trivia
Jeez.
section,
Mm-hmm.
they claim that Diablo Cody
Mhm.
polished this script
Whoa.
Based.
uncredited.
Based.
And Americanized?
Yeah, because
The
Fede
screenplay?
is not from America.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like so.
Well, sometimes,
But, yeah,
like,
I
what's
mean-
scary? It cannot. It doesn't always translate.
Yeah.
It can struggle with. Also, dialogue-wise, it can
Mhm.
struggle with like
Right.
translation.
Yeah, totally.
So the cunt was totally Diablo. Like,
Ah!
like the key girls are gonna kiss,
Kiss
and
me, you filthy cunt.
then he's gonna say, "Kiss me, you
That was
filthy
all
cunt."
Diablo.
That was
stuff.
definitely that's
Pure Diablo
I could
cunt.
totally see that.
I
El
can see that right
Diablo.
out of Juno.
Kiss me, you filthy cunt. What's the thing that
So-
she wrote that was
What kind of
So-
dead cat disease makes you
Oh, Jennifer's body, right?
puke all over your friends and cut your tongue? Yeah, thank you. Like,
So they shot this movie for a month in New Zealand
Yeah.
and then 40 days in the United States.
wow.
Oh wow.
Damn.
So they had fucking a long fucking time to make this awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Strategically
Ugh.
planned out. Yeah, I think
So
I heard
I-
the editing took a
could be
while too. It's probably because they had to keep turning it into the MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's always nice when movies have time to figure themselves out.
I believe our editor for our episode also worked in the movie, if I'm remembering correctly. And I think
Ooh.
I remember him saying it was like it took a while, like a 2-year process for some
Wow.
reason.
Oh,
Might
wow.
involve the MPAA.
So Brian Shaw.
There's more of
Uh,
this choreography with her hand.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the editor, like he was in the editing team. He was probably like
Oh, okay.
an editor or something.
The iconic
Yeah.
fucking cellar shot. She's like turned on, I think.
Well,
She's
she's
like, oh
like-
yeah, look,
I think it's
that's
she's,
fucking hot.
she's also like participating in like
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
other people are connected like
For sure.
Well, yeah. I actually, while filming, I actually had a discussion with our visual effects like director, and we were actually talking about like Evil Dead, like what is evil, right? And
yeah.
we both like came to the conclusion it's like it's something that gets off on suffering, right? So
Yeah.
that's sort of that seems to be in that
Mhm.
same wavelength in this of this.
Yeah,
human there
definitely.
getting off on this.
God, this blood is so amazing.
So there has to be something like orgasmic about the suffering.
yeah.
Not what I mean gets off like just likes it. Like that's when they're the happiest. That's their ultimate pleasure.
They're happy
Yeah.
when
It could,
people are
and that's why it could be
Endgame is the-
sexual or it could not. It could be totally
Yeah.
an innocent type of happiness. That's what makes it
Mhm.
creepy too.
Mm-hmm.
It could you could have it both ways. You could have some demons be this, some demons be that.
oh God.
Oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Love that.
I love this one.
Yeah.
When
So
when you guys directed, you guys had to deal with a very controversial thing in the fandom, being the daughter of Ash. And I feel like Jane Levy's character is kind of the first sort of version of that, you know, being
Yeah.
a female archetype of Ash.
Yeah. I didn't you know, it's funny because I didn't see that I saw the fan base really accept her and
yeah.
open up to her.
Yeah, it was accepted.
and,
I'm just saying that it's like something that like caused, you know, everyone had to like take note. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. She was awesome. So
Yeah,
That's good that you
I
got-
never saw anyone saying anything negative about her. It was just like
yeah.
before they showed any footage, it was like it's a huge cross to bear.
Yeah. I
Have
can
to play
imagine.
character's kid.
Yeah. She was a very like good natured, like always happy person, a very good energy. So I guess she didn't you didn't see her carry the weight, if you know,
Mhm.
if there was any.
Well, I think expectations are different from like TV to cinema too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
Having more time to develop the character is definitely gonna help her.
Yeah. And that was fun. We had fun doing that. We did there was one scene that we were able to pull off that wasn't on the script where we wanted her to just be chilling in the room of her mother. And we sort of filmed it like an indie scene. We thought that was cool. Yeah, that was like the most fun is diving into character, doing little character stuff in this fun demonic like crazy ass world.
I love these like. It's such an infuriating trope in horror movies of like, no, there has to be some other explanation. Maybe she just needs
Yeah.
a doctor.
Yeah.
needs some Thorazine and a
She
nap.
just needs a little therapy.
What's funny is it's kind of I think it can be done really well. Like I think the one thing
Yeah.
I'll say is Stephen King is always really good at writing that because he makes you understand the psychology of
Mhm.
human beings are very good at rationalizing things that
Yeah.
don't make sense.
Oh, the nail gun.
You know? So like that's why like it can come across as goofy in movies, but
Yeah,
it's a very human thing. So, like
yeah,
it's
for
just
sure.
fireworks, not gunshots. It's just
I mean, it's easy as a person watching a horror movie to be like, no, it's obviously the evil demon. But
Yeah.
if it happened in real life, you'd be like, wait, no, there's has
we
to
know
be
things the characters
No,
don't.
right,
This-
exactly.
this
Like
ca-
we're watching a movie for one thing.
This abandoned cabin is like way
Yeah.
too well stocked.
Yeah.
There's
well,
a
remember
fully
that they,
working nail gun.
remember that they
There's
were
a turkey
working on
carver.
trying
There's a
to get.
chainsaw.
Well, I think they brought some of the supplies. They didn't bring the nail gun, but I think they were working to kill that other demon girl. So like they had a lot of stuff in there. Like they were trying to figure it out. They probably were trying to destroy her or
Right.
kill the book for a long time. But yes, a working nail gun is a pretty.
Yeah, man. But like, who cares? Because
That-
like, this is so cool.
That to me is such like an 80s concept of
Yeah.
like let's just throw power tools at
Yeah.
the bad thing. You know?
I mean, some of the fucking most disturbing, freakiest scenes in the original are like people getting
Yeah.
stabbed with pencils and
Yeah.
shit. Like he's like stabbed in the
Random
pencil
mundane
in the
stuff.
foot with a pencil, and it's like goop just starts coming out, and like yeah, man. The everyday household items. Screw knives. Like what can you come up with
I
that's just
think
like
that nail
around the
guns
house?
have made a really big comeback in filmmaking as a pretty nightmarish tool of terror.
I mean, it is pretty
Even in
fucking
like a
terrifying.
James Bond film, they can kill
What
a guy.
movie was I just watching
With a nail.
where there was a nail gun? I just saw a movie and they were like a long distance nail gun shooting into like a house, and they're hiding in the house. Fuck.
The way it's just so brutal, like, and then
Yeah.
the way they shoot this, it's just
Yeah, and you're
brutal.
like in like the victim's perspective as
Ugh.
she's like beating him up.
God, it is so brutal.
Now I gotta look this up. It's gonna bother me.
And it's just the relentless. Probably the cool thing about Evil Dead is the relentlessness.
Yeah.
Like the
No,
original
that's-
and all this, just the relentless. Oh! Damn!
Oh yeah. That's another thing that's super creepy is people getting
This-
like their fingers mangled
Yes.
somehow is
Terrifying.
like so
Yeah.
terrifying.
This guy puts up
You
with
never
so
expect it.
before he dies.
Yeah,
It's
no,
amazing.
I would
He's a
say he gets
trooper.
put through the ringer, man. Like
Yeah, he's a trooper.
he goes through like at least 3 things that should kill him before he finally dies.
Those blood effects. That's
She
that's
looks like-
CG blood too, and CG
Yeah.
blood normally does
It's
not
really
look that
impressive.
good.
That is
Does
really
not
good.
look that good. I mean, I think it's CG blood. Could be
I
wrong.
know. I definitely think some of it is. Some of it's like. I think it's a mix.
Everything crafted to perfection.
Hmm They do the right amount of shadow on it, so you can't like see if it's
Right.
too shiny or too artificial. Like it's the way that she looked like a doll, like a broken doll, was so fucked up.
Mhm.
When she walked towards him.
Whoa, this is the only Evil Dead movie that is over 90 minutes.
Wow.
No, it's not. This isn't over 90 minutes. No, it's like an hour and 24 minutes or something like that. I specifically because
Is it over 90 minutes?
no.
If it's 91 minutes, that means it's over 90 minutes.
If it's over 90 minutes, then this is the unrated cut. Because
We don't have to rated cut.
IMDb is
It's-
saying it's over 90 minutes?
IMDb, really? I'm pretty sure it's like 84 minutes.
An hour and 31 minutes.
See, 90,
Really? They got an extra minute in there. This is unprecedented.
It's epic.
That's on IMDb.
It's an epic.
The version on Hulu, I think, is like 84 minutes.
Then they cut some stuff out.
Then you
It
know,
might
then the
have.
Hulu version is the Disney
Yeah,
friendly
the
version.
The Disney
It's
version.
probably
But
the
it's so
it's
bloody.
probably the TV friendly cable version, where you just say "cunt" a little bit.
It's just it's just a drug addict version.
Yeah.
Just she goes
Right.
there and then she leaves.
You gotta get clean, girl.
And she does.
And she does the end.
And you know,
A dare officer shows up. I'm here to help.
if America had a better mental health care industry,
Right? She
This-
wouldn't have to go to a creepy ass cabin in the
Cabin to
middle
get
of
clean.
fucking
Right,
nowhere.
yeah,
to get
for
clean.
real.
that's the real horror.
I should collect that like as a letterbox list, like lists of horror movies that wouldn't exist if America had universal health care. Like that would actually be a great fucking list.
That would be a great list.
It would be all horror films and then John Q for me. Just put John
yeah.
Q. in.
Yes, I was just thinking of John Q and Breaking Bad. Man would have
Yeah.
never done that meth
For
selling.
real. I cannot find this nail gun movie.
How did they have time to put? Oh no, those are old photos from like when the cabin used to belong to their parents. Okay, I forgot.
Oh my god!
I was like, did they have
Yeah,
time
yeah.
to put up photos?
When they first started talking about doing a remake of Evil Dead was back in 2003,
Wow.
10 years before this was made.
Damn.
And at the time, Ashton Kutcher and Marlon Williams were both in consideration.
watched.
to play the new Ash.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
Well,
Wait,
Ash,
who? Marlon who?
Marlon
Wayans.
Wayans?
Marlon Wayans.
And
Marlon
Ash.
Wayans would have been amazing.
Yeah,
That would have been an amazing Evil Dead
it would have
movie.
been pretty fun.
It would have been its own thing. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
I want to direct
I
that.
think he would have made it more scary movie-esque.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of that movie he had in the '90s, Senseless. And
Yes.
for
that
the
was
way
fun.
he would be very interesting in a actual body horror movie.
He can act. Okay.
Yeah, he could act. That's why. Because I know he could really act. He's really
can act.
talented. So if it's not the comedian Marlon Wayans, but like the actor Marlon Wayans,
No, the comedian.
trying to mix it, like try to mix the two in
Is
there.
it-
I think he
Can
would
he
do it.
balance both?
Isn't
Yeah,
Marlon in
that's an Ash.
Requiem for a Dream?
Yes.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's me.
That's his most horror movie on his resume, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than his parodies.
Yeah, I think that's the most horrific movie he did. Because scary movies.
That's
doesn't-
fucking.
But instead he made G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. Hell
he
yeah.
wanted to have fun.
Hell yeah.
He
One of
really
the
makes
perfect.
that the scene with the because his reaction, like, oh man, come on, no.
So he goes down here.
So
Oh, he
how
went to go get
did you notice at the Oscars, Andres,
Yeah.
that 3 out of the 5 movies that were nominated for special effects makeup were just people in fat suits?
Mm,
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
I
3 out of
didn't-
the 5. The
Yeah.
Batman, the Whale, and what was the third one?
Dang it.
Third one.
oh man.
Dang it.
And there's so many horror movies that
yeah, for
you know,
real.
I would have even though it's sacrilege, I would have thrown Terrifier in there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sacrilege. But-
Why is that sacrilege?
Huh? Because the Oscars are never gonna vote for Terrifier.
Horror
well-
movies. horror-
Elvis.
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 Oh,
Oh, for the
Oh, 3 fat suits. And the
Yeah.
fattest fat suit won.
Mm-hmm.
and horror doesn't do the fat suit thing. They'll just hire if they need like a big dude to do the
They just
killer
hired
thing.
fat.
Hire an overweight. No, that's it.
2022, 2023 is
Horror's
the year
been so based, man, since the beginning. The
Hey,
horror
you
know,
genre.
in Hollywood.
My thing is, if those 3 movies deserve Oscars for their fat suits,
Yeah.
then Slither deserves an Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Jamie Lee thanking genre horror people is such a big fucking deal. Because
Yes.
the Oscars are the most, when it comes to horror, they are the most ridiculous, snobby, pretentious
Yeah.
pieces
Yeah.
of shit about it.
Yeah.
Even when it's like highbrow, so-called highbrow horror, like Ari Aster films that everyone sucks off and loves for all the themes and stuff, they don't care. They're like, nah, Toni Collette should have been nominated for a fucking Oscar
Yeah.
for Hereditary, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. probably.
Sorry.
A lot of people were championing Mia Goth's performance in Pearl as
Yeah.
well.
Mia Goth was fantastic. It's ridiculous. It is a total blind spot. And the odd movie that gets in is like an anathema, like to the actual like status quo of it. Like they just refuse. I would almost wish that the Oscars would just go like the MTV Movie Awards. You're so angry about genre, just have a genre movie category and shut the fuck up.
Right.
Yeah. I think and to go transition this into Evil Dead, one of the groups I loved working with on the team was actually the stunt team, and it's such a shame the Oscars can't recognize stunt teams
Yes.
around the world.
Agreed.
Mm,
It's
Yeah.
another blind spot.
Yeah, they should.
Because,
Stunt teams, casting directors don't get any
Yeah.
love.
Yeah, I think
The in memoriam.
it's such a shame too, because I think in 1981 is when the makeup effects was first introduced because of American Wolf in London and all this was coming out. I think also 1981 was when Raiders of the Lost Ark came out, so I thought that's the time to recognize stunt work.
Yeah.
Those 2 movies kind of dropped the ball with that one, and ever since then I don't know why. I think it might be because it's too complicated when they're thinking about, okay, do we do stunt driving, Do we do falls? Like,
Also,
which
though,
I wouldn't mind. You know, I wouldn't mind
well,
seeing
I
that.
agree with you. I think that some of it is whoever's at the head of the academy and their lack of
well,
like, you know what I mean? Like just sort of because
well,
they
well,
struggle to even watch
the-
the movies they watch to nominate.
well, the other thing politically too, if you started awarding stunt teams or nominating stunt teams, you would have to recognize all of the amazing stunt teams in China and in India and in all these other countries.
We do that anyway. We're still
Do it on a
very
higher level
exclusion.
than we-
We do that anyway. We still do it in we're still very exclusionary, but every once in a while we get RRRs or we get parasites, you know. Every once in a while there are foreign films we just can't ignore.
Like I understand the Oscars can't cover everything, but frankly they don't cover enough. Like and I think they don't paint the picture that movies are a real collaborative effort. So people are always sort of like, what is the production design even mean? What gosh, whatever. It's like it's silly. It's like it doesn't really illustrate to people how collaborative film is, you know?
In
What won the best picture in fucking 2013?
What?
Fucking Argo, okay? Evil Dead should have won best picture, not Argo.
Either Evil Dead or Pain and Gain for sure, 2013. But yeah, in Ash, the female stunt, the stunt double was actually was a stunt double for Furiosa, won the best stuntman like in the stunt awards, won for
they
playing
have their
Furiosa.
own awards, right?
Yeah. But I think the Oscars definitely, because it's also like I think that'll be good for ratings, just seeing like crazy, like what's out there in terms of like people falling, driving, crashes,
kind of
all that
how
stuff.
They're trying so hard to like be above the fact that like, oh, we make movies for the everyman or the average general audience, but it's like, but you do. And like, especially since this is such a political award anyway, that people have to campaign for. And like, it's just ego at this point.
And what we're seeing on the screen is literally what the Oscars do to horror. They bury it in a plastic bag.
Yes.
And cover it up, pretend like it doesn't exist.
But like Mia, it emerges victorious from the ground.
I thought there might be a little bit of hope a few years ago when Parasite got Best Picture, but
they didn't even sell that movie as a horror. They don't even want to sell it as when they were promoting it for the Oscars.
Yeah,
they didn't even want to like sell it as this is a horror movie.
Well, the person who knew the Oscars best was fucking Harvey Weinstein, okay? And Harvey Weinstein had one hand in the horror world and one hand in the Oscar world. And if he could have won a fucking Oscar with a horror movie, he would have figured out how to do it by now.
Well, he had one hand in one, and never the two shall meet, is the way he saw it. He's like, this is for teenagers, and this is for the adults. That's how he saw it, I think.
That is how he saw it.
But yeah, even I consider Lighthouse a horror film, and that got recognized.
Me too. I do too.
Yeah.
Good.
It's about isolation and going insane and being weird and freaking out.
Hell yeah.
Psychological shit going on in your brain.
This is so fucked up.
That he had to create
on every level.
Defibrillator
If you listed all of the things that happened in this movie, if just 5 of them happened in another movie, that movie would be instantly like super horrifying.
Yeah.
But this movie, there's 20 fucking million things.
I would love to see a Joe Bob episode about
it's like the rate of horror films.
God,
it would be fun to see Joe Bob talk about Evil Dead 20.
Seriously. And the drive-in totals would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a very difficult film to talk about because it's so beautiful. You just want to watch. It's very engaging.
Right? Yeah. Like we're like barely talking about the movie because it's just like it's too good. Like we can't make fun of anything really. Like we can talk about certain things, but then we go off on tangents about
and that like he covers her in like a children's blanket.
Yeah. Again, this is when it's playing that trick of like, hey, this is Ash. Okay, this guy's the lead. I'm the lead.
And he's even got a blue shirt on.
Yeah, and he's even got like he's got lore now. Oh, he lost his girlfriend. Okay, now I know what you're doing, movie. Think, and then
Yeah.
and it's gonna pull another switch. Genius. That's
love
one of
it.
the things I appreciate in Evil Dead is the unpredictability.
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
gonna go.
I think that's
what-
another reason why I like the idea that she doesn't just pop into a balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I also feel like I can be real because they use the real world horror of making her a drug addict. It's kind of fucked up because if you look at this as a metaphor for her addiction,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if you end it with her being dead,
Yeah.
you're basically
Yeah.
saying you
Yeah.
will never win
Right.
from this terrible affliction that you have, and
Yeah.
that might be a little bit too bleak.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too much.
This movie's
And
bleak.
there's always exceptions, but actually recently, having conversation with writers and stuff, we've actually, I've come over the opinion that I think most horror films should end with a character surviving, because otherwise, this one writer said, it's like, what story are you telling otherwise, right? There are exceptions, of course. Drag Me to Hell. It was fantastic.
Well, Drag Me to Hell was good, but that's
Yeah.
why I didn't like. For me, I was really into Smile until right in the end.
Yeah. Insane.
I see that more metaphorical though, where it's
yeah,
like,
but
But the whole movie is about cycles of trauma and trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
end cycles
and
of
she
trauma.
never.
And she's a
she never
trauma
does. Yeah.
I
specialist,
feel like
and
even
she
if,
should be the most
Yeah.
equipped to handle trauma, and yet
yeah.
she just falls into the same trap. It's like
Even
like,
if-
no
I
one
think-
can
I
overcome
think it could
trauma.
have been a little if they had tried to go for a bit more ambiguous
Yeah.
of an ending. I think it would have been better. The fact that it felt very like
And it's too bad because that fucking monster is so terrifying.
Oh,
Oh my
Jesus.
god, with the big
Yeah.
old
I don't even
arms.
think they needed to show that.
but it was pretty scary.
I love
Oh yeah,
it.
I loved it. I loved both iterations. The
No, I liked
the
the
skull
monster.
thing and the Marilyn
I think
Manson
it
thing.
was so successfully done. It was freaky as fuck. It reminded me of something else like we had watched recently. I think it was like that Mayan horror that we saw. Like they were keeping people in the basement. I can't remember.
Speaking of the new Evil Dead Rises, which takes place in a apartment complex, correct?
Ooh, exciting! I've heard
Yeah, I've been hearing really
Get
good
out of
things
the
about it.
Yeah,
But
man.
there's actually I think they're Indonesian or Malaysian. I'm not sure. Satan's Slave, which they're on Shudder, and there's Satan's Slave. Their remakes done by this director that I really like. The first one, Joko Anwar, I believe.
Joko
Mhm.
Anwar, yeah.
The second one takes place in an apartment complex, and it was
Mm.
I was actually really good, and the setup is genius because they actually use like their culture, whatever they believe in there, where they have to stay when a relative dies, they have to stay with the body
Yeah.
in the apartment, and they have this tracking, and like there's this huge accident that happens in the apartment. They have this tracking shot going from window to window of all the dead relatives in the apartment, and that's what sets off like the Evil Dead stuff. It's fantastic.
Indonesian horror is amazing.
It's fucking I just
They go balls to the wall.
I just
they're-
recently got super into both of the Satan Slaves movies and
Yeah.
also of the May the Devil Take You movies. Those are
Oh yeah, those are good.
awesome.
Dude, that guy is doing the Train to Busan remake. Train to New York.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
nice.
American version, no?
The American version. Yeah, they tapped him. He's coming over. We got him, boys.
Oh, this is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, I
This
love
is
this. The
amazing.
blood
No,
rain.
and then like they make her dress red, like because that was her burial dress. It was already red, so it's just sort of
Yeah.
like the perfect touch. Like, oh,
Oh my god, so good.
this thing is freaky as fuck.
Right?
This
Oh.
thing with the spine and the like. ugh.
So apparently this is like a plot hole in the movie.
Oh really?
Because according to the nerds on the internet, if you look at the book of the Necronomicon,
Yeah.
the abomination is only supposed to come after 5 people have been sacrificed.
Mhm.
Okay.
And only 4 people have died.
Well, technically, she died and was brought back to
Well,
life.
She did.
Oh, you're
I-
right. That's a death. That's a death.
Well, they feel that since she's not dead, she's not dead.
Well, I
And that
think
it
that's
didn't count.
I think that's semantics because she
Yeah.
was legally dead, and he had
Yeah,
to
she was
literally
dead.
stab her heart with a freaking.
And you know demons are gonna use that as a loophole. Come on, they're
Exactly.
shady.
Like a
They're
demon-
shady.
Yeah, a
Demons
demon.
aren't-
Sorry, not
They don't
dead.
play fair, Steven.
Oh, please! It's like all it
Demons
it's like
don't play
Buffy.
fair.
All it takes
Deadites,
is like
sorry.
one moment of transference, and then they're like,
Mhm.
"Fuck, okay,
Yeah.
new Slayer, demons coming."
You want to be the demon? You want to be the demon to tell Satan they didn't do it because
Exactly.
technically
Actually,
She wasn't
she
dead.
wasn't technically dead.
She-
Technically dead, almost dead.
Actually
is not
dead.
actually dead.
Suck it, internet nerds.
Like
Yeah.
Billy Crystal appears and is like, "Well." Also, it's a nice bit of poetry when they tell the story at the beginning that she had died before. She was
Okay.
legally dead and she had to be defibrillated.
Mm.
So this is the second time
This is her second death.
having
Yeah.
to like be defibrillated back to life. So it's a bit of like
She's a pro at this point.
yeah.
yeah.
So you're basically telling me she's Jesus Christ.
Well, one could
But
argue-
better because she came back twice.
Oh, one could argue that's one of the many reasons the demon chose her first is
Right.
because of her many like sort of like she's already like half foot in the grave, like and then her drug addiction and you know what I mean, like the preying on her mind.
That's cool. That's a good take.
I love.
She's already
movies-
had her foot in the door, so to speak.
Yeah.
I love movies about demons where the demons have like this like sick, filthy mouth. They're just like cursing and like The Exorcist is my favorite example. Of like, let Jesus fuck you. You know, like,
Oh god, I hate this.
because
Oh, I
of
hate
course
I hate this
that's
part.
what demons would be like. Like they would just be cursing and fucking. You know, yeah, kiss me, you dirty cunt.
that moment, I could feel that moment when that knife slid across her knee. I could feel it. It was like in the
Great.
theater. I was like
The way the
squirming.
skin moves, you can see it. Yeah.
So
This is so much
It's
fun.
it is so like carnal and
it's so
visceral.
tactile. It's so tactile. You can feel it. And I
it's-
love when horror movies can do
and
that.
and it's so interesting because like she had to crawl through that hole. She has to
Mhm.
literally like crawl through the walls
Mhm.
to survive. There's like all of this imagery of like tunnels and like
Mhm.
passing through of
Mhm.
like representing like this is a hellscape.
Yeah. Like and it's hell on earth, and it's
Mhm.
great.
The music is great here too.
Oh,
Ah, yes, classic. Trying to get the chainsaw revved up.
Why does the chainsaw have to be red?
Yeah,
because it's cool.
because everything's red.
Because it's so badass.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Is,
man.
is it because it's like a
Gotta
Corvette?
ask for
Make
its
it sound like a
permission.
sports
This
car?
this is the red time of the movie. This is
Yeah.
blood time.
Blood time.
If someone made an Evil Dead movie with a yellow chainsaw,
Oh,
cancel the movie.
This might be the thing that fucked me up the most in this movie. Oh my god. Like, oh,
Yeah. That was
how
cool.
does a person
And I love how they like take the chainsaw away from her, so she has to pull herself. Like she can't. She's trying
yeah,
to reach
right.
it. Like now, okay, she's like trying to figure out.
It's like, yeah, I can totally no,
Oh.
can't reach.
Nope,
No, I have to
Control.
literally
I
rip.
have to rip my
my
own
arm
arm
You know,
off.
if she was driving a Prius, I don't think she would have this problem.
Lift it right up. Yeah.
I've had enough of this shit.
Oh, that's good gore. That's good gore.
Baby.
That's again next level. This movie
That
consistently goes to the next level
That's the
and
most-
still gets that R rating.
Yeah,
The most Evil Dead thing maybe in this whole movie.
yeah, for ripping her arm.
Her just ripping her fucking arm off. It's
And look at how gorgeous the fires blaze. Like it's hell. This
Yeah.
is hell, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like this is hell. It's fantastic.
For me, the next shot is when it's truly the most Evil
Yeah.
Dead for me. Is when the puppet shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
There.
That's the one.
Feast on this.
And then I love the
That
children.
wide shot with the crane coming
The
down
thing
is
I want to
gorgeous.
suck on your cock, and she's like, "Nah, you suck on this fucking chainsaw, bitch."
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at the
it's
blood.
so beautiful. This is such a
just
beautiful
How-
film.
how-
cuts her in fucking
How can
half.
Evil Dead Rise even come close to this? This is
Yeah.
insane.
I'm excited because I heard
Apartment
I heard
complex.
good things.
This is insane.
I've
Oh,
heard
oh,
though.
look at-
I've
oh.
heard people use the word mean a lot
About Evil Dead
about
Rise.
Evil Dead Rise, and about a lot of films. That's like a thing that people like to say now, like as a praise. You know, it's mean,
So
and I
now
feel
you're
like
bleak.
well, no, I feel like they're kind of two different meanings for that.
Yeah.
Like mean to the characters in the universe and all of that.
But this
And
movie's mean
there's-
to their characters.
Right. Exactly. No, that's what I mean. Like that's the kind of mean that I like when it's mean to the characters. There's also movies that are mean to the audience.
Yeah.
And I don't like those
I don't
kinds
like
of
those
movies.
movies.
Because it's like that's
Absolutely.
just I mean, it feels manipulative in a way. Like like it's just wants to get a reaction out of you
Yeah.
for the sake of it. Like the end of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, the little gotcha ending that's just like so like manipulative and unnecessary and just like
It had some
mean.
cool set pieces, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean,
that
the-
was not-
The
And
literal
look,
Chainsaw Massacre,
that is so beautiful. How,
Yeah,
like,
look
the
at that.
lighting, the bright
the
light,
ethereal
oh,
light
God.
of the day, like the daybreak being this like moment of safety in horror movies is such a trope,
Yeah.
and this is like doing that turned up to 11. You know, like
But the forest
beams
still
of
isn't
light.
Yeah, but the forest still wasn't pretty exactly.
It-
Oh
It's
yeah,
impo-
the forest,
it-
so you
it-
can barely see the forest.
Yeah, it's impossible to film in New Zealand and not look beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's part of the thing.
Evil Dead.
So they still got a closing
And you
shot of
gotta-
the book.
Yeah.
Like
you
they
gotta,
wanted.
you
Yeah,
gotta
they did it.
like, oh, the evil is still evil.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I liked, but it's not that like I think that they still managed to balance like the Evil Dead is still Evil Dead. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's definitely exists, but
It's still
she,
evil. It's still
but
dead.
she gets to go. Just like
Yeah.
Ash, she gets to go and she has the tools to fight it now if she ever encounters it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think as a general rule, one of the things I like is that you can't really destroy evil. You could only survive it.
Yeah.
And so this played into that.
So
That
gorgeous.
is a great that is a good theme. That's
Yeah,
really
because if you can't destroy good, there's always going to be good. There's always going to be evil.
Mhm.
Right.
Got to do it. Got to deal with it.
Ooh.
I love this. I
This
love
is
this
nice
credit
narcissism.
sequence.
I think I'm excited for Evil Dead Rise, but I would be more excited if they took a big swing like Army of Darkness again. Like I want a time traveling Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
Go to like
I-
Egyptian times this time. Like let's
I
go
don't-
to space. Let's go
Evil
to the
Dead in space. Yes.
let's go to the post-apocalyptic future that they never went to. Like I want to see that.
Sometimes I worry like modern Hollywood's too scared to do shit like that.
Yeah.
They're too scared to swing crazy like that.
You would think with like Marvel and that idea of humor coming in and
Yeah.
saving a lot of movies that they would
does-
like maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
Mhm.
explain what's happening.
Yeah.
I have no
It's just-
explanation.
I think it's just Evil Dead is such a strange like franchise where it's like you feel like no one's talking about it, but they are at the same time.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while a movie comes out and it's like, oh, it's big.
I
The
think
show
because
came out and it was big.
It's because Evil Dead is a very specific. It is in the horror genre. It's for genre fans. You know
Yeah,
what
so
I mean?
special.
Like,
It's
For sure.
Yeah.
special in its own way.
I think
Yeah.
in going back to what you're saying about big swings, like the thing
Hmm.
about mainstream Hollywood being so like against doing stuff like that is like outside of mainstream Hollywood, the swings just keep getting bigger, it seems.
yeah.
Like they're just going all out. They're like the big swings that not like indie and like outside of the mainstream filmmakers are taking
I think
are
that-
huge.
I think that foreign horror has been some of
Yes.
the most exciting horror
For
in
sure.
the last like 15 years.
For sure.
Like-
yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many great
Like,
like
I'm just saying like there's good stuff, but like I'm saying like they really like they're going for it. Like
And
they're
I'm-
doing some wild shit.
I think a lot of people also sort of equate foreign horror with like a lot of it being sort of elevated, and there's a
It's
lot
not.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
like nice, sick, sloppy
Spanish
Yeah.
stuff.
Spanish
Oh, yeah.
films love a good like ghost story, like essential, like they just make it scary as shit and depressing a lot of the time.
My go-to for like more normie people is I don't know if you consider it horror, but I always recommend Attack the Block. It's like so fast-paced, so much fun.
Yeah.
I always go for that one.
I love Attack the Block.
think-
Yeah,
I
Attack
think-
the Block is like, it's like scary. It's like sci-fi horror. The
Yeah.
aliens are scary.
I heard they're making Attack the Block too.
Yep.
I've been hearing that
They
for
are.
a while.
That's in production, I think.
But his Boyega is not attached anymore, right?
Yeah, he's in it.
He's in it.
Yeah,
He's got-
I
He's got to be. That's his franchise. That's
I
his...
know, but he hasn't.
that would be great if he comes back.
I would love to.
Oh
see
my
him.
god. He went to jail at the end of the first movie. Attack the
Yeah.
Block could mean a totally different thing.
It could
If
be.
he's in prison, Attack the Block.
That would be awesome. British prison, fucking.
I like
Versus-
Bronson. I'll see more British prison because of Bronson.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that movie is so fucking insane.
Tom Hardy would be great for an Evil Dead movie.
Tom Hardy would be great in a horror movie.
I think he's doing his own little Evil Dead movie
Yeah.
with those Venom movies.
He oh man, I know.
Because
Like,
he's kind of having like a
he's
Bruce
having
Campbell
some
kind of role.
strange, like universe where he's just doing his own thing.
Yeah, he's doing whatever he wants over there. I'm glad
I
he
love
looks like he's having fun.
He is. I love it. It's the best.
Oh, Weta Digital worked on this too.
Hell yeah.
So the fucking masterminds behind the fucking Lord of the Rings.
Like, that's why that blood
Little piece.
was
of-
extra special.
What is the bomb?
that
Like I
explains
said,
it.
like I said, Tapper told like he's based off of there. He moved his operations to New Zealand. You know.
You know what? One of my dreams is to go through all of the episodes of Cleopatra 2525,
Yeah.
produced by Rob Tappert.
And do
Yeah.
a retrospective.
Because a lot of the stuff they did on Hercules and all the Rob Tappert shows
Yeah, Xena.
paved the way for the next 20 years of movies in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And we're at the end, the fucking MPAA certificate on this bitch. And this is Evil Dead 2013 commentary track. And now the best part of the movie for the Bruce Campbell fans, the groovy movie.
Oh, I already turned it off.
Ah.
I didn't know there was a mid end credit sequence.
It's just
Oh,
Did
yeah.
I forget?
It's just Bruce saying groovy and turning to
and
camera.
it makes no sense, has no
Yeah,
context,
nothing to
doesn't
do with-
matter.
Again, there's something special about this franchise that Bruce is able to champion, still being Ash, but then championing these Evil Dead. Like they go to him for these Evil Dead remakes that have nothing to do with his character.
Mhm.
From the looks of things. And he champions him and he talks about him. He loves him. He seems to be a part of him. He's so great.
Yeah.
Too bad he's busy making Marvel movies now.
Hey,
They
Papa
make-
Pizza gets paid, okay?
he was Pizza Papa and Doctor
Pizza
Strange.
Papa gets paid.
Come on.
That's like a day job.
He's
That's
Pizza. You don't think they're gonna bring him in the next Spider-Man movie to reprise all of his previous Spider-Man characters?
that would be great. I hope they do.
Did the car make a cameo as well? Did we ever see that in Doctor Strange?
In Doctor Strange, yeah, the car's in it.
Which part? I never saw it.
I think they redressed it. I would have to look at IMDb. Let me see.
It's probably like a CGI in the background
Oh,
with
man.
the eyes throwing stuff around.
Did you
or
guys
something.
see what happened at the Evil Dead Rise? Like I think it
Oh,
was
the
South by
fucking drunk,
Southwest.
this
The
drunk
guy that was like, "This movie sucks." Bruce
just fucking
yelling him down.
Wait, why did he say this movie sucks?
He
I've
just,
heard
I
nothing
don't
but
know. He was just there. Everyone else was having a good time, and this random jackass gets up and goes, "This movie sucks" during the Q&A, and Bruce Campbell's just like, "Get the fuck out of here."
yeah. That's rude.
It is rude.
One of the things I've heard, like this movie wasn't even supposed to come out in theaters. It was supposed to come out in streaming, and it tested so
Oh.
freaking well that they decided to put it out in the festivals.
That's
and stuff.
exciting.
This was supposed to come out, I think, last year. You know, was
Be-
another really
Also,
good under.
Also, they have to thank that horror did, like, did you say horror did really well in general, or this movie specifically?
No, this movie specifically was
Oh,
supposed
okay.
to come out streaming.
Okay.
and it tested so well that they decided to put it into festivals.
Horror did
and
really
then-
well last year too. Like
Yes.
horror made a ton of money, and so they've started paying attention again. There's going to be a big resurgence.
Yeah,
for-
I think one of the things that seems to there's like these very strange event horror films coming out, like Terrifier 2 making 5 million. And
yeah.
Smile, like these, and then the Winnie the Pooh movie feels like an event almost too. Like,
Oh man, yeah.
it's like these weird things popping up, which I love. I love.
I didn't see it yet.
No,
I
thought you
watched
saw
it.
it.
did.
I saw the Grinch horror movie, the mean one, which could have been more fun, honestly, but the ending was worth it. But no, I definitely want to see. I want all of these. I'm like one of the few people who is like, hell yeah, bring on the fucking Bambi horror movie and everything that they have planned in the works.
As Disney clutches their hair and tears their hair out and
Yes, exactly.
Damn it.
guys, it's just so funny to me because I'm like, if you really think that someone making a Bambi horror movie is going to somehow hurt your brand,
I know,
don't
right?
Like,
No one cares. Like,
I
Well,
feel like
my
the
brother and I have a Peter Pan one. Have a we
Peter
have
Pan
one.
is right for a scary.
We've always wanted to do a movie of what happened, how the Shadow was trying to get to Wendy the whole time,
Whoa.
and that's sort of the plot.
That's a great, that's a great idea.
In London, like the killer Shadow, Peter Pan's shadow,
awesome.
That's awesome.
as a slasher.
You could
Maybe
do like
we'll do that.
you could go Jack the Ripper-esque if you wanted to.
Hey, by the way, I've never asked any of you guys. Are you championing release the Batgirl hashtag that I'm a part of?
I am champion. What do you mean? Like, do I support it? Hell yeah, I support
Yeah,
it.
support release the Batgirl.
Or
please.
release Batgirl. I went on her TikTok and she had some behind the scenes, and I said I just wrote a comment. I was like, I really wish we could see your movie. I want to see your movie.
I think
was
it's only a
devastated.
matter of time, even if it's like
I hope so.
you
I
know,
was
10
even
years.
I was even hoping it would be hilarious if they release it as a deleted scene in the Flash Blu-ray release. That would be
You should just put it
fantastic.
as an Easter egg, bro.
Well, they
like
just leaked
a
the-
real old school Easter egg. We
They
have to
leaked that
click through a
Scooby-Doo
menu.
movie, right?
Yeah, dude. I did that with the Ring DVD. The Ring DVD, to see the video, you had to do this weird
Yeah.
weird thing, and it would just play the video.
Did you
By
hear about the
itself.
Scooby Doo movie that they
They leaked it.
The Scooby Doo Crypto 2?
I heard that. Well, one Scooby-Doo movie got leaked. I don't know.
Yeah,
which
that
one.
movie got leaked because apparently it's another tax write-off, but it's like fully complete
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
a DC crossover.
Yeah,
And yet they feel
what-
that's not going to make
Hey,
any
here's
money.
how I feel about the tax writer bullshit. Like, there's a writer's strike coming. I don't think that's helping you.
Yeah.
Like, you
That's
guys
that's such a good point.
being
One
such
of,
assholes and not
I-
wanting to residuals and shit.
I also think with the hype that it got from its cancellation, Brendan Fraser just won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Michael Keaton in the Flash trailer. It's like, I honestly think if they released it now,
to release
it
that.
might have made more money than freaking Black Adam. Like, especially if they had a Batman fight scene. If it had, like, they just need to put that in the trailer. There's one Michael Keaton fight scene later. I saw some of the footage of the fire truck chase, and
Mhm.
it's incredible. Like, they used like practical fire effects, and it was
Oh.
like all done in camera, all in one shot, like of her motorcycle and a fire
what they
truck
did that movie
like
was so
chasing her
unfair.
down on fire. Like, it was
wanna see it, and
amazing.
it's
Like, I
bullshit.
want to see this movie so badly. Like, I was absolutely devastated.
Yeah,
when they
it's
canceled it.
bullshit. I think it's absolute bullshit. I think it's gross.
Yeah.
I really like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I
Batgirl's
know
one of
that
my
there's
favorites.
like ethical, like, I know that there's like legal loopholes and shit, but I honestly don't, like, I don't know. It just feels illegal. Like, I know it's not
Yeah.
illegal, but it
No,
doesn't
no.
feel.
No, it's just shit. It's just a shitty thing, but it's their right to do it. That's why I'm also like I have like this community called Mad Max Entertainment, where I do like panels and stuff. And we're like the only ones like, hey, we want to be like the Snyder Bros, if you know what I mean. Certain Snyder community when we're asking for this, you know, so we're like, we even hashtag it with a please at the end. Hey, release Batgirl when you have enough money or whatever. We'd like to see it. That's it. That's all we're
That'd
saying.
be great.
We'd watch it.
When it's the most fiscally viable for you.
Yeah, when it's yeah, because we understand, but it's like I think it definitely would have made more than Shazam this weekend. You know,
Yeah, Shazam's not doing
Mo-
that well.
Shazam made 30 million. That's
Yeah, it's not doing
bad,
great.
pretty bad. And I feel bad because the director is great. I like that guy.
Yeah, and I heard it's not that bad. Like,
No,
I
I
don't
heard
know.
I heard it's good. I heard a lot of people I respect said it was very
Some
charming.
people
Just as
say
good.
that they think that they jumped the gun announcing all the new slate because people feel like, what's the point of watching Shazam? Because they're just gonna do new stuff. I don't think that.
Mm.
I don't know if a general audience works that hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think they think like that. Yeah. I like his general audience think that freaking Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is in Black Adam, you know, like they don't know the difference between Marvel and DC.
So I wonder why they didn't go to see it. I guess is it truly superhero fatigue at this point? Are they tired?
Well, I think Shazam had a lot of climbing to do, especially with I haven't seen the first one, and this trailer it looks like fun, but it's just one of those like I could wait to see
Yeah.
it. I don't know, it feels like that,
It
and
looks
nothing
like
against.
a movie that
yeah.
you want to stream.
Mr.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. It looks like a movie that you want to stream. It doesn't look like a movie you want to pay to see in the theaters. Like
Yeah,
it looks like a movie that people would let their kids watch
Mi-
like on a weekend with their TVs.
Mr. J saw it and he said that it was a fun family movie.
yeah.
Was disappointed that they didn't use like actual canon Shazam villains,
Mhm.
but
Well,
that
dude,
the
well,
fuck-
have you been keeping up with the news of what happened with The Rock, the rap, the story? Like,
The Black.
check. The Rock was actively trying to like always not being part of Shazam's lore. Like he would
Yeah.
X cameos. He would
Yeah.
do this. He produced the movie. He didn't show up in it. And
Yeah.
it's very strange that he wanted Superman when he's the Shazam character.
His ego took over and went.
Yeah,
into-
there's a huge article that came out today about that.
Oh,
or yesterday.
today? Okay, I have to check
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah,
talks
he's-
about.
His ego's gotten like really like it's gotten really big. Like
Yeah.
it's gotten like a little wild, a little bit much.
so
Yeah.
any final thoughts on Evil Dead 2013 before we close this bitch out? Anyone? Bueller?
Blood.
Who wants to start? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love.
I mean,
Blood.
I guess I'll start. I love this movie, and I said earlier there are a few remakes that I put up there that could contend with the originals, and this is definitely one. It does its own thing, which is what I
Mhm.
asked for. You know, take the setup of the original and do your own thing and have fun. And it looks like that's what they did. It was
Yeah.
the gore is amazing. How this got away from the MPAA is a miracle.
Yeah.
I could see the story, you know, between what you guys were saying earlier, how many times it probably had to be turned into the MPAA, and then an editor I worked with saying it took 2 years to edit. I could see, like, you know, that they
They
again
probably just had to wear them down at the point. Like,
Yeah.
all right, just here.
so much of this film is crafted, and that's how I'll describe it. It's not made. It's just this was a
It's yeah.
crafted film in so many
Mhm.
levels, from as we
Mhm.
pointed out, production design, the script, themes, everything. It's just it's great. I love the Evil Dead remake, and I can't wait for the remake sequel.
Yeah, I have a lot of high hopes for all the Evil Dead, like the new ones and the previous, because I feel like it's a franchise that's managed to do pretty well for itself and in topping itself or taking itself somewhere new and interesting. And
There's not a single Evil Dead thing that is like superfluous and like not
Unwatchable,
fun
yeah.
and like unwatchable and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's
totally
true.
cash grab. Like
Mhm.
That's
that
true.
doesn't
It's nailed it. It's nailed every
In-
landing so far. No, for what franchise could say that? You know,
Mhm.
when you think about it, that's true.
it's weird because like in a world where we always rank sequels from like our favorite to like our not as favorite,
Mhm.
like I can't even rank this movie on a list because it's just so totally like unique from everything else.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sure. Same with Evil Dead. Like, where do you put Evil Dead? Like, it's
Yeah.
its own
Yeah.
thing. Like, and one of the things that's very fascinating and just like a hallmark to how like the ingenuity of those original films and this one is like so many people copy Evil Dead, but they can't get the style. Like they just copy it in story, where it's like people go to the woods. It's an obvious Evil Dead homage. You get it from the story. You don't get it from camera angles, the energy, none of that. Like no one's been able to match that Evil Dead aesthetic besides Evil Dead.
And that's a beautiful
Yeah.
to close
Yeah.
the show. I have been your host, Steven.
I've been Danny.
And D-Rock.
And with us today, Andres. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun.
Check out on Bandcamp, Ad Infinitum. Check out Millennium Bugs on YouTube for $4. Solid indie coming of age movie. And remember, kids, when prepping your cabin in the woods, make sure to stock up on chainsaws
And nail guns.
because those things will be vital to your survival.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay.
Hey, Wonder.
Wundercast? Give it
Yeah.
up for Wundercast, man. What an adorable name.
You're listening to the Wundercast.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, Green Ranger. You're listening to Boondacast.
You can find it at Bundacast, and I know they love Effie.
Subscribe to the Wundercast.
This is all about.